Hello, everyone. This is Motel A&M. I'm Michael, joined with.
Alex.
It's a podcast where we talk about everything and anything.
So check yourself into your room and enjoy your stay.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Motel A&M. Today, we want to talk about a few things on our Instagram. Really excited. Alex was able to hook us up with Linktree, which will help you direct yourselves to other Instagram accounts. I'm sorry, not Instagram. Twitter accounts, YouTube, Spotify, and Anchor. So definitely go check that out. Very easy to use.
Don't forget Twitter.
I think I said Instagram, then I said Twitter.
YouTube, Spotify, Anchor, and Twitter.
Mm-hmm. All those lovely accounts.
Don't be afraid of Twitter. Twitter doesn't get love on it too.
Yeah, Twitter only has like one follower. I think it's you.
It's me. Might have to shut it down already.
It's okay. I think everybody's right now preferred method of contacting us is through Instagram. Yeah. Instagram has a pretty huge leap above everybody else. Really fascinating though. YouTube. Last night we uploaded the first video, and within minutes we were getting views.
An hour. It was like at almost 20.
Mm-hmm. And for us, that's kind of like a really big, like little celebration because I didn't expect us to get more than like 5 or 3 views. So the fact that we got like that much, it's pretty cool.
Can I give a little shout out to our listeners in Ireland?
Yes, shout those guys out. Thanks for listening, guys.
we've been looking at our stats, and apparently we have listeners in Ireland, which is kind of mind blowing and kind of awesome at the same time. Because we wouldn't think it'd be in Ireland, out of all places.
Yeah, at the beginning of this, they were one of the first people that actually popped up, and we started to see the percentage of our Ireland listeners drop. And then the other day we checked, and it went up a couple percent. We're like, they're back! Yes, it's just so cool. Thank you.
Do you want me to get started with topics?
Go ahead, man.
All right, so everything around the world right now is about COVID, but I got some good news about COVID. So apparently the theme parks here in California are gonna reopen at 25% capacity. Only those. So I don't know if anyone knows about the different tiers. But essentially is they have to follow protocols, and they have to be, really safe with it. Mask, distancing, and all that. And also, I guess the smaller theme parks. I couldn't think of any like off the top of my head. If you know any, Mike.
Like maybe like Knoxbury Farms, are they pretty small? Compared to like Disneyland and like Waterworld, or
I wouldn't even know. Oh, I didn't even think about like a water park. Yeah. But so good news for that. Maybe we actually will be able to go to, concerts next year.
Or it would be nice. I feel like a part of me is like, no, like with the way things are going right now, like it doesn't seem to be slowing down, and cases just seem to be picking up. And I would love to have like the world back to where it used to be, but now that this is happening, like it just seems like it's harder to get that image back to us, back to normal.
Moving on from COVID. Did you know the Fast and the Furious is finally ending?
No, I didn't know, actually.
I read an article yesterday, so apparently it's gonna finally end after 11 movies.
11? So this franchise, it's kind of funny that you mentioned it, because the franchise was like, it was just meant to be
about cars,
like street racing and cars, and like kind of like the not drama but the story behind it. And now they like became superheroes in some movies, jumping and doing like physically impossible things. Like what's his name? Toronto. Is that his name?
Toretto.
Toretto. There you go.
Oh man, he's gonna get crucified.
Toretto jumping from one bridge to the other, like doing like 60, 90. And I did hear like, I don't know where I read it, but I read somewhere that it's like the next movie's supposed to be happening in space. Did you see that post somewhere?
No. Oh my god.
I was like, okay, now they're getting a little bit ridiculous, but I mean they're still super like entertaining.
I do feel like it's more like action based now, more than anything. But it's I was gonna say it's so weird from where they started from. It was literally just watching this one dude drive around his car and like stall it out, and then you're like, oh well, now we're gonna take over the world with God's eye. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on now?
I'm not gonna lie, dude. Like those car scenes where they're just racing and they're like drifting around corners and evading, people that are chasing them. Like that's pretty like not adrenaline rushing, but it's really exciting to watch because it's just so cool. It's like things that you want to do, and movies kind of like bring that a little bit closer to reality. Because I mean, a lot of us believe that they were out there really performing these. I know that there are really talented drivers out there,
Yeah,
professional drivers that can do stuff like that. Drifting and all that fun stuff. And I don't know. Would you ever want to be on a set like that?
yeah, because I think I've so I'm a huge like Fast and the Furious nerd, so I'd like watch like the bonus features on like the
Hmm.
DVDs. So like just seeing how much like some people like improve their driving,
Hmm.
that's like pretty cool. Um, I do remember from the second one. I don't know if you remember the Asian actress. She was driving the pink car,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the pink Honda. I guess
Hmm.
she didn't know how to drive at the time, so they had to teach her how to drive for the movie before it even started. So I'm like, I'm sorry, and then she had to learn. Well, obviously, like stick. So that's
Yeah.
throw it even on top of that.
Kind of like how you started. You had a. You want to tell your story about the Teggy? How you learned?
Man, yeah, my '94 Integra. When I first got that car, man, it was beat up. It had no stereo. It had like practically any brakes, no AC, so I was always dying in there.
Hmm.
But it was a 5 speed, so I had to learn how to drive stick because I wanted to learn. And when I brought it home, well, I didn't bring it home. My friend JL did. And when I brought it home, I'm like, all right, well, I gotta practice now. I
Hmm.
spent like 3 hours. I'm like, nah, I'm done. Let's send it back. I don't want this car. Let's go get our money back because
Hmm.
I couldn't get it down. But you just keep practicing. And eventually, you get it.
See, and I've learned how to drive stick, but not like perfect. Perfect. I can't even say perfect. Perfect like you and my sister. Like you guys are a lot better at driving stick than I can. I stall, and I don't know if you want to tell them that story when we parked outside a restaurant.
McDonald's.
Because I learned that like from my dad, like if you put it in first and you turn the car off, like it's kind of like a parking brake. So
Yeah,
that's what I was trying to do, but apparently I was in over my head.
you did it too
Actually,
soon.
I did it way too soon, but it did help me kind of visually learn how to ride a motorcycle.
Hmm.
And so the shifting on that is a little bit different, but same concept. And, if I could transfer those skills onto a car, a stick shift, then I think I could do pretty decent.
Is well, I've never driven a bike, but is it like sequential? So if you keep going like one, two, like and then you keep
Yeah, but
getting.
the yeah, but I believe the first to get into first gear, you have to hit down first, and then you shift up.
Mm,
So like literally, like you would have to hit the pedal down, and then you go up from there. And neutral's kind of like in between like first and second. Like it's a very
that's weird.
different. Yeah, it's a very different sweet spot. So like if you don't pull all the way up, there is a possibility that you go in from first to neutral and you're like revving just the engine. I've done it like once or twice on accident.
The most embarrassing thing when you're driving stick is when you stall out at a light and everyone's like honking at you, like, why isn't this guy
Oh,
moving?
yeah. What about like drive-throughs? How is it going through like a drive-through with a stick? Because I
So,
mean, there's sometimes like bumper to bumper, right?
so I do have I'll get back to that, but you reminded me of a time when my car was acting up, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, maybe it's just the car is acting up. Maybe it'll like it's just hiccups. The car would always like just randomly shut off, and then I would have to do something, and then like I don't know, it somehow magically turned back on.
Mm-hmm.
So one time I was at McDonald's drive-through, and it just died. It wouldn't turn back on, and everyone, people get tired of waiting, so they're like honking
Yeah.
at you. They're like on your ass about everything. So I'm like, come on, car, please just turn on. I'm like cranking it, cranking it, cranking it until it goes, and I'm like, it finally moves. And it just shows you how impatient some people are. Like they wouldn't even
Yeah.
bother to help.
That reminds me of when I was riding to Los Banos
Hmm.
for a class, and the bike would like stall out, out of nowhere. And I remember my dad had told me that you could pretty much jumpstart a bike like
Yeah,
the same you would a car. And you have to put it in first, and you have to pretty much push it and then jump on. And
yeah,
that's
and then
exactly what I did. And I was like, I felt like a badass. I'm not gonna lie, because like I never thought I could do something like that. Because when you learn stuff like that, it's challenging because you're not used to having to like it's like it implies manually shift.
Hmm.
And it was just really exciting for me. I felt like a little superhero. I was riding back, and I was like, I can't wait to tell my dad. I don't think he really cared. He's like, good job, and that was it. That was it. It was a lot less anticlimactic than I thought it was gonna be.
It does help you like in certain situations. You're like, man, what do I do? Type of
Hmm.
thing.
I think those situations are really really fun for some reason. Like the other day, I think yesterday we were having a lot of difficulties, and just the fact that we could think on our feet, like I said, like it just adds so much more fun to the situations and stuff like that.
To get back to what you were saying about driving bumper to bumper,
Bumpa da bumpa.
bumper to bumper. I used to hate it, especially like in traffic.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure you've seen the TikTok where it's like, man, having a stick is fun, but when you're in traffic, it's just one, two, one, two, and one, two.
Yeah, yeah.
And your knee, man, you're just like constantly pressing the clutch in, and then, especially in my car, I'm pretty sure when you drove it, you noticed how sensitive the gas was.
Hmm.
So it
And
was,
I thought my car was sensitive until I went in
oh
yours. Was like,
no, oh,
whoa, there's a whole nother ball game.
this is like you have to feather touch it.
Yeah, yeah.
So, um, I'm pretty sure you've told me your feelings about Modesto and its
Mm,
traffic. That's where I
yeah.
always used to get traffic going up north. So
Dude,
just
I can't imagine driving there, dude.
being in traffic for like half an hour
Mm-hmm.
in Modesto is just not the business.
The one thing I miss about the Taggy is like I've sorry if I offend any hardcore racers, but I'm not much of like a racer fan. Like I don't really like the loud engines, like especially. And the one thing, and call me a fat ass, I don't care, but I would be like, what if I had a car like that and I'm trying to sneak out, and you got the misses in the house, and you're like trying to be discreet, and you turn that thing on, it's like, and you're like, like I just woke up half the neighborhood at 2 in the morning to get some jack. But like,
So just remind me of a
but
story. I won't cut you off. Go ahead.
and one thing I liked about your car is like I really liked the way it sounded. Like genuinely, like it sounded like a badass car. And every time that we would remember that we were like racing those two what were they? Were they 600s or 700
Oh, the
cc bikes?
bikes
The bikes.
where
Oh,
by
they
your
were like
house.
900. Yeah, they were like they were fast bikes. And I just remember like hearing the engine, the throttle, like everything about the car was just so like it was nice to me. Like when they say purred like a kitten, like but it was like I don't want to like make it sound like it wasn't loud. No, it was loud because I could hear this man coming turning into my neighborhood. I'm like, okay, Alex is here. And so that's one thing I really miss. Just like the sound. Like everybody loves the way certain cars sound. And I really like the way yours sounded. Not being biased either.
I do have to get that car back.
Hmm.
Oh man, I just forgot my story. Fuck. I was so concentrated listening to your story, I forgot what I was gonna
Yeah.
say.
Well, I am known to like just ramble on sometimes, so I apologize if I
Oh,
made
I
you
got it. I
forget.
got it. I got
All right.
it. So how you were saying about sneaking out. So sometimes I would sneak out of my house,
Mm-hmm.
and my mom is the world's lightest sleeper. She can hear a feather drop in my room and be like, "Who's there?
You fart in your sleep, and she's like, "What?"
Who's there?" Yeah, pretty much. So I would sometimes, sneak out or go do stuff in the middle of the night, and I wouldn't want to wake up my mom.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would do, there'd be times where I didn't know I was gonna sneak out, and I would leave my car in the driveway. So I would have to push it and then turn the steering wheel at the same time.
Oh
So
man.
I'd have to leave the door. And you remember, my car didn't have power steering,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so
I do
that thing
remember
was
that.
like cranking like a whole boat.
Wait, so how far would you have to like push it? Because your car is not quiet; it's
It's
loud.
not. So I would sometimes when I left into the driveway, so it would come out, and I had to turn it to straighten it out into with the street, get it this way.
Oh, so
So
you
then,
pushed it.
and then I pushed it down the street, get a little exercise. I'm all sweaty already. And then I'm like, you know what? This would be safe. I turned the corner. So then I'm like, this is good enough. So I'd be like, turn it on and be like, all right, let's get the hell out of here before they listen and think it's my car.
Oh, dude, that's kind of like far. Like you said, like you have to power steer that. Did you ever run into like any like trouble with like other cars coming
Mm-mm.
your way, or is it just like
It was like in the
quiet
middle of the night from
roads?
like my neighborhood's pretty quiet like at 1.
Mm, so Those Jack in the Box were the runs to Jack were they worth it?
I'm not gonna
Or
say it was Jack. Maybe it was
Car-
women.
Oh, all right. Whoa, calm down there, killer.
Maybe. I'm just saying, you know?
So, so I can't even talk about the next. Let's talk about the next topic. What about your top five movies?
Top five movies.
We've been wanting to talk about this for a while, and not necessarily top five. You could go longer if you need to.
Hmm. So yesterday, I was telling you I was watching a movie that I think we both really enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
That probably is my number one right now, which is Interstellar.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like
Interstellar is good.
just the whole like complex thing that the whole movie is like
Mm-hmm.
how it all just comes back in a full circle. I'm like, dude, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And me, I'm a big space fucking nerd, so you know, you got me with space pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
So that whole movie is just would definitely recommend.
Mm-hmm.
My next one, it's probably gonna be geeky as hell, but the Fast and the Furious. Dude, I'm pretty sure you've heard me just like run off lines like while we're
Yeah.
just in a car.
Or like hanging out or like
Dude,
chilling.
I'm pretty sure I can verbatim say the whole movie, even with sound effects.
Dude, there was a few times where I said like just one line and you'd like, um, I forgot. I think we were playing Rocket League, and I was like, "You thought you had," or well, I said, "I almost had you," and then you were
He's
like,
you
"You went
had
on and
me.
you
I'll
were
do the whole
Tortilla's
thing.
spot or whatever." Forgot his name, Tordino,
Oh my! Just say Dom.
Dom.
That's his name.
My favorite. I don't know why, but it's always funny. Me and another friend, we would catch the like clips of the movie, and we'd always like look at each other when we're leaving, and we're like, you know, I'm trying to be Dom right now. He's like, let's go get us some cars. And every time we saw that scene, like, it just became so much funnier. Like the way he says it, just they could have written that line a little bit better, but it's something I always laugh about.
But
Man,
I just
that is
love.
wild.
That's wild.
That's wild.
I love the cars in that movie too.
Mm-hmm.
The clips that didn't get enough screen time. R.I.P. blown up.
Mm-hmm.
And then come on, a Supra. I'm not much of a muscle car dude, but
Mm-hmm.
the Dom's car is pretty. I don't even know what it is honestly.
What was like your favorite character? Who was your favorite character? Who is your favorite character?
It has to be Paul Walker's character.
Yeah.
Has to be. I don't
Do
think
you
there's
like
a
his line?
what line.
Cuh. When he's like, I forgot he's coming out. He's like, "That's sick, cuh."
I
I forgot who he's with, but he's like, everybody was like
do.
making fun of him. He's like, they're like, Walker really just said "cuh" right now.
I think that's the second one. Was
Hmm.
he's saying something. He's like, "Don't forget about it, could." And I'm like, "What?
Yeah, yeah.
Come on, man."
So,
Next movie,
hmm
Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
when I saw that on there, I was like, that is a good movie. That's Jim Carrey is just that man's a character. Have you ever like watched his like not like his legacy or his life, but like his career
No,
at the beginning? No, you should watch it if anybody's into movie stuff and documentaries. I forgot what it was called, but it's on Netflix, and it just pretty much talks about how he was preparing for that one role, Andy something, but he pretty much was becoming Andy, and the how immersed he got into it was affecting his life,
mm-hmm.
and it was people just weren't like sure, and the individuals that knew the real Andy were like, he's a spitting image. He's
Damn.
like, I feel like I'm talking to him. So Jim Carrey's is amazing. But go ahead and talk about. Sorry, I didn't mean to
Oh
interrupt.
no, you're good.
That long long tangent.
That hella reminded me of when Christian Bale got so skinny for a role. I don't
The
remember.
machinist.
I don't. Yeah, I think I haven't watched the movie, but I did see like how skinny he was just to get for that role. I'm like, that's commitment, but
Do you
also
think?
very bad for your health.
Yeah. Do you think he actually like lived off of apple cores and coffee?
I
Like
don't,
that was like supposed like the diet that he was on. He was just eating apples and coffee like all day. And
and
I was like,
that's how you get skinny. Sign me up.
I mean, let's let's try it. No, I'm
have
kidding. No.
have headaches all day.
Dude, that would be terrible. I could not do that. I mean, you would probably enter ketosis, but like if you're not getting like all the good stuff, like
You'd
it'd
have
probably be a really bad
you'd
bad
have like so
situation.
many withdrawals. Be like, I
Oh
want
yeah.
something.
And I wonder if he like gradually did it or if he just like
Oh yeah, like straight shot it.
I mean, knowing him like and hearing about his work ethics, like I feel like he just is like, you know what, tomorrow I start. You know what?
You know?
Not screw tomorrow. Let's
Fuck
do it
it.
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. If I ever want a movie just to watch, first one be like, you know what? Jim Carrey's hilarious in this.
Mm-hmm.
That whole movie is just comedy.
You have a
And
favorite scene from there?
Oh, I've sent it to you guys all the time on
The arrow one?
no you when I send you and Sid. Oh, that one too, but that's a different movie. That's the one in Africa. I'm talking about the one in when he's with the football team
Uh-huh.
and he's looking for whoever stole the dolphin. That one. That's Pet Detective.
Oh, okay. I don't think I have seen Ace Ventura. I just don't remember which ones I've seen, or if there's multiple ones.
One of
I gotta
them's
educate
in
myself.
one of them's in Africa and one of them's in Miami.
Miami.
Yeah. My favorite scene is well, if you haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil it for you.
You can no. Go ahead.
So
Watch it.
there's a scene where they think this guy committed suicide, and then he comes in and they're like, so the cops hate him pretty much. He's like, someone kill a cockroach in here. so, so he shows up and they're like, and then he'll like make a funny joke or something, and then he'll actually go do detective work,
Mm-hmm.
and then he'll be like, you don't think this guy actually murdered himself, right? They're like,
I think I know the lie.
yeah. So, he pretty much shows them it's like it's impossible to do it, and then he's like, at the end, he's like, do you feel that, honey? Huh? And he's just like fist bumping his. I just love that whole scene. That whole scene is just jokes. And I love when he takes a deep breath. He's like and then he's gonna say everything he's gonna say.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man,
Dude, I don't think there's anybody else who could have played that role better than
No.
him.
he
Can
was.
you imagine Christian Bale being Ace Ventura?
He was the '90s man. He was '90s
Yeah.
comedy.
The Mask. What else?
Liar, liar.
Mm-hmm.
Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber. I was watching it the other day, and I just could not stop laughing. It just brings back a lot of memories.
Can we talk about that last Dumb and Dumber though? I felt like it was so forced.
Oh, the recent one, right?
Yeah.
The most like the newest. I didn't get to watch it because I heard so many like bad reviews about it. Like I did hear that a lot of it was forced. I was like, I'm not gonna watch it.
I do love Jim Carrey and what is his name? Jeff Daniels.
Mm-hmm.
I do love them together, like in the first one, but this one just felt like they forced them to make the movie and just try to be funny.
Yeah. Well, especially now because like comedy, like with everything throughout time, like everything evolves, and it's like the comedy that was probably like really funny back then. It's probably like kind of cringe now if people were to do it now, and that's
Yeah.
probably why like people thought it was forced to.
It's just a different type of humor that was in the '90s to now.
Mm-hmm. I want to hear your next one. I would have never guessed.
Shrek.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Shrek is a classic. What do you mean?
It is. It is.
Shrek
I
is a
just would have
classic.
never thought I would see it on your top 10 or 5.
I was really. I'm pretty sure because we were doing our notes and you saw me like edit it like a few times.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, what do I pick? I'm like, you know what? The other day when we went to Jail's house, I heard Shrek. I'm like, dude, Shrek is a classic, a timeless classic.
I was like, we just missed that. I forgot what scene it was because I was like a little tipsy, but I was like, we just missed the part where Shrek is. And was it Fiona?
Yeah, when
She's
was
turning into the
transforming,
ogre or something. We're like, we're missing the part.
It's funny because I think you sent a TikTok to me and had the Shrek audio.
I can't
That's
remember
like,
which one it was.
oh, that's a nice boulder.
Oh yeah.
This would be my home.
This would be my home.
That's a
Dude.
nice boulder.
That was a kind of an odd like mix up too, like with the cast members, but it worked out so well. So I'm glad that they do their research with like who could mix well together. Who knows? Maybe they just guess.
You should see. Well, if you ever do finish your Spanish lessons, Donkey in Spanish is one of the most well known like Mexican comedians.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like well known for that role too, just for being Donkey in Shrek. And
Can
they
I just
kept,
watch it with the subtitles?
I mean, if you want, he's a really well known dude.
Yeah.
Uh,
Gabriel Iglesias?
no, no, I'm talking Mexican motherland, not Mexican American.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right.
Oh yeah, I do got to touch up on my Spanish.
Just a little.
Just a little.
Should I tell him how we used to practice a little bit?
When we go to like the stores?
We used to go to
Yeah, go ahead.
Target would have English and Spanish, so I'd be like, how do you say that? Oh, papel. Or we just go to like desodorante, deodorant, and we'd keep going
Yeah.
into all the aisles until he would get it right.
It it's helpful, but I I don't like speaking Spanish because I sound like I'm super. I mean, I am like technically like super white in the sense that I can't speak it. I don't have like the fluent accent, I guess you would call it. Because I mean, if we say like I don't know, like why don't you say a word and I'll try to repeat it and people understand the difference.
Uh oh, your favorite word, fly.
Voila. How do you say it?
Voila, yeah, you're right.
Oh
You
no,
know
I
that
was talking about.
you know that
Yeah,
one.
I know that one, but like I don't know.
What if I say
Like
window,
how do you say window?
ventana?
Ventana.
That's not bad.
That's not bad. Okay, there's other situations like if I were to actually speak like in a Spanish, like, oh, let me go ahead. I got you're gonna cringe because you hate when I say this. I'm so nervous now. All right,
Put you on the spot.
all right. I got you. And this is something I say quite frequently, and I don't really know if I'm right, and I need more coaching on it. Sa saca la sangre. How do you
Oh,
say it?
well, it depends on what sense you're saying it.
Like I'm here to draw your blood.
Oh, le voy a sacar sangre.
Le voy a
Sacar sangre.
sacar
Sangre.
sangre.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you say it.
Le voy a sacar sangre.
Le voy a sacar sangre. Like I can't say
You
like.
bundled all the words into one.
Yeah, like
Spanish.
my.
So how I used to teach my brother because he had a hard time with it too.
Mhm.
Um, you pretty much have to sound out. Like if you see it's written out, you just have to sound everything out. It's not like English
Mhm.
where it might sound different.
That's that's one thing I really like because if when we were doing that at the stores and you would say what does that say and I would be able to like sound it out like it was really easy and thankfully I know like if two L's are together it's like it's a different sound it's like a Y
Yeah.
or yeah and then I know like the accents but like if I'm on my own and I'm trying to like visually see it because I
Mhm.
feel like my brain speaks a lot quicker than my mouth can follow and so like that's why like sometimes even in English you hear you like you guys hear me
To have a
I
stroke.
sometimes like stutter or I have a stroke, and it's because my mind's going like too quick for my mouth to talk, and it's frustrating because half the time like I could ramble on about something like probably right now I'm rambling, and not get my point across, and then by the time I get to say it, I'm like, what? How relevant was this to the conversation?
You reminded me of a time your sister worked where we worked at too.
hmm
And she worked on drive through, but her Spanish, she tried her best.
Hey, she did better than I ever could, so
Um,
kudos to her.
do you remember our maintenance woman?
Yeah.
So her husband would go all the time for a coffee. But I think this time he went for like a drink that had like whole milk, or like you have to ask if they want whole milk or like non-fat.
hmm
And your sister's like having a hard time. She's like, she'll like pause the headset and she'll be like, "Guys, I need help. They're telling me something about lechetera," and everyone like who speaks Spanish is like, "What the hell did you say? Like, is that even a word?" So like me and the maintenance chick like look at each other and we're like, "What did she say? Like dirt? I don't know. Like that's not even a word." And then like we don't know what they said. So like then the maintenance ladies man like pulls up to the window and he's like, he drinks it, he's like, "I didn't want this." He's like, I guess she put like non-fat and he was trying to say whole milk like
Whole milk.
leche entera, but she like bundled
Oh,
everything up and she's like leche entera, and we're like, what were you trying to say? And then we kind of like bully, not bully, but like make fun of each other.
make fun of her. Yeah.
Like we always just poke fun of like how she said it, because she would try, but we'd always have a little fun with it.
Surprisingly, like a lot of people, even I learned like a lot of Spanish just from working there. And it's always funny because when people ask like, "Oh, do you know Spanish?" I'm like, "I know fast food Spanish, but not like medical Spanish. I can take an order in Spanish, but that's about it."
I like how sometimes we like mess around and pretend we're still like working there. We're like, para qué, para llevar, para llevar.
Yeah. Today I started like being super white. I was like telling my mom like, "Consuela, calmate, no necesita agravada." I couldn't say like I don't know how to say like aggressive or angry, so
Oh,
I just did like avogado for some reason. Like and like just kept saying that throughout the entire time. My dad's like looking at me like, "You
you,
dummy."
you were saying lawyer. Oh, God, that's a lawyer.
Well then, she don't need to be a lawyer.
Hey, you're not wrong. Should I get back to my last movie?
Yeah, yeah. I'm curious because I
Look
don't know
at
what
this
that. I don't
rabbit
know
hole
what
we
that
went
is.
down.
Yeah.
My last one is Back to the Future.
Oh yeah. I do know that you're a pretty big Back to the Future fan. Do you have a favorite movie out of the series?
The Man, it's always hard to choose because they all have their own thing, but I'll probably just stick with the OG first one.
The first one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Back to the Future, uh I feel like it's not necessarily a like October movie, but like it's a fall movie for some like that's what it reminds me of
Mm.
fall.
Even though it takes place in October.
Scratch that. We're gonna edit that out.
It doesn't give up a Halloween vibe though.
No. To me,
No.
I always feel like it kind of does. Maybe it is because like subconsciously I remembered it was like take place in October.
Yeah.
But
Funny enough, I told my mom because I grew up with that movie because of my dad,
hmm
and my dad watched it. When it came out, so he watched it in Mexico in theater. I'm like, oh, you lucky man. So I told him, I was like, I want to watch in theaters, and in Riverbank they do throwback movies,
hmm
and apparently they were showing it at Riverbank. So I bought my mom's ticket, my dad's, and myself, and I took him to go watch it as if it
Oh,
was coming
that's
out for
nice.
the first time.
Uh-huh.
And then, so I know my dad loves the movie, so we went to the store right now, and I got him a whole new set because he had bought one, but it's like so beat up now. I bought him
hmm
a brand new Blu-ray set,
Oh, that's nice.
and it's all in Spanish now because he wants to hear them in Spanish. I'm like, come on, man, you gotta practice your English.
I'll watch him in Spanish and then he can watch him in English.
Yeah, so
there's
got him his early Christmas present.
there's like something special about the movies too. You go there. I used to go with my dad a lot, and we don't go often anymore. I kind of wish we did more,
Hmm.
do more movie time. But like just like chilling there, eating popcorn, candy with that diabetic size can of soda, jug of soda. Those are the days, man. You I forgot what I was about to say. We're
Oh,
having a lot of brain farts today.
yeah. You want to say your movies since I
Yeah, I'll
finished
go
with
ahead.
mine?
Yeah, I'll go ahead. I only read done five, and the first one was Inception. I love that movie. The cast was cool. If you go even deeper into the story, like all their initials, like the first letter of their names spell out dreams.
Oh, what? I didn't know
Um,
that.
yeah. So if you look at like Leonardo DiCaprio's character, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, um, and a couple of what's the name, Harden,
Uh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
yeah, all like the main cast. If you look at their names, the first letter they all spell out dreams.
Oh, they're like their characters or the
Their
actual.
actual no the actual the character names
Oh,
in
okay.
Inception. Yeah,
I
their
thought
first.
I thought you meant like the actors. I'm like, damn, that was
Oh
like
no,
really
no,
planned out, huh?
no. But yeah, that was like probably like one of my top movies, and none of these are in any order. They're kind of random, but number one might be Inception because it was the first movie that actually made me think about like a lot. Because I've watched like a lot of comedy, and you'll see from my list, like it's not like it stays like in the realm of comedy,
Hmm.
but I really did like that movie. And number two is Benchwarmers.
Oh,
Like I said, this
classic.
is not in any order, but me, Alex, and Sid, we could go ahead and go on for days just quoting movies. We'll be like, can you tell them slow down?
Always in
did
Rocket
you tell
League.
them? Always a Rocket League. That one, I don't know how it became like such a favorite movie, but I think I've watched it a few times after I watched it originally, like the first time, and I just loved it. I was like, this movie was so amazing. Number three is Spirited Away. Now this one has a little bit of meaning to it because I was never like into like anime, and I was like I said just into like more cartoonish stuff like Cartoon Network, Fox Kids, Power
Hmm.
Rangers, stuff like that. This was his first like anime movie that I watched, and my dad wanted to show it to us. He sat me and my sister, my mom, and we watched it together as a family. And it's a story, without giving too much away, it's a story about a spoiled girl, like little child, who's very like unappreciative of things, and she has to go through this journey to get her parents back and be more appreciative. So she comes out a
Oh,
better child. Like
oh,
she learns her lessons and stuff like that. So he was like he wanted to share that with us, so that's always going to be like a little special movie to me. And me and my sister, we love that movie. We could watch it a million times probably. uh
movie.
Nacho Libre. Jack Black in that film.
Speaking of comedy.
Speaking of comedy, dude, Jack Black in that one was just so funny. I don't know why I like it. I especially like that first like intro when he's serving everybody's food and he gets like the chips. He's like, and it gets along with the girl's like salad. She's like, "What the heck's going on?" And the other kid is just like looking at him like, "Is this really happening?"
I was gonna
And then
say,
the
I think what makes those movies like so good is like there's such memorable scenes that you could just be like, man, that made me hella laugh.
yeah. Now, I don't know if a lot of people remember watching this movie. I don't even know if you've heard of it.
I don't
I
think
know
so.
Sid probably has, because we were like, we I feel like we kind of have me and Sid have like a very close comedy. We can relate to a lot
Hmm.
of things. And this movie, I feel like he knows what I'm talking about. It's called Heavyweights. If anybody's ever watched that, let us know.
Is
And
that a
it's
fat joke?
about it's not a fat joke, but let me explain. Let me explain. Everybody keep calm. So pretty much, this kid, his parents are kind of concerned because they show his diet and it's not the greatest diet. I think this is made in like the 90s and 2000s when kids were like American obesity was just climbing, like just skyrocketing. And so they showed his diet. He's eating like Twinkies, Pepsis, chips, just a really bad diet. Parents are concerned. They send him to, it's called a fat camp, where they technically are supposed to lose the weight. But they get into some, like, the camp that is supposed to seem like so cool, it gets bought out by Ben Stiller's character,
Hmm.
who's like kind of like a like a hardcore sergeant, like we're going to get you guys in shape, and they're like no, because it wasn't really a fat camp. It was a place for people to go who face like the same difficulties being big, and they were able to still kind of like cheat, not really lose weight, have a lot of fun, and Ben Stiller just kind of ruins it. And it's a really funny movie. It's a cute little movie too. So I used to watch that with my mom a lot, and it was, I don't know, maybe just watching my mom made it so special for me.
Is it a comedy as well?
I would say yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I would say it's a comedy. It's I'm not really sure like the exact drama, but honestly, I would consider it comedy.
I think
Sorry, my screen keeps shaking.
I don't think laughing at fat kids is that funny. Okay.
You know what? It was I wasn't laughing at them. I was laughing at the things that they were
With them,
doing.
with them.
Oh no, no, because that makes me sound like I'm still picking on them. I'm not picking on them. It was a movie. Don't burn me at the stake for this, okay?
Get them
I'm
comments.
no. Uh, so one thing that we wanted to touch up on too is the bucket list. We've talked about
Mm,
bucket list for 2 episodes, and we have not. We were like both like, we don't really know. So we came prepared, and today we're ready to share
finally.
uh, a couple. Yeah, finally, right? Everybody's been like, "What's going on with this bucket list?" No one. It doesn't sound very exciting. You go ahead and go
You
first.
want me to go first? All right.
Yeah, yeah.
So the first thing I have is attend the Olympics. You know
Did
how
you regret?
awesome? Yeah.
Yeah. Did you want to go to like any in the past? like recently, or?
Nah, cause they haven't been any local ones, but I know LA's gonna have one soon, so I
Hmm.
really want to go to that. Not even Olympics, but I used to run track. You know, it probably doesn't show. You know, but your boy used to be a little track star, so I love track, and like I still have a friend that's still running that I graduated with, and I still give him all the support. Like I hope to see him in the Olympics as well, but
Hmm.
I'd be like more than happy to go see the Olympic trials in Oregon just to
Oh,
go out too. Yeah,
yeah.
I
Did
was
you
really
ever watch?
excited.
Did you ever watch like the X Games? Like well, not like the X Games, but like the Winter Olympics.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love summer and the winter ones. It's I think it's
I used
so
to always
amazing to
watch
see.
the Winter.
I used
I
to
used to
love.
only watch Winter. We keep talking. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say it's. I think it's just amazing to see how, like, even just like track and your Winter Olympics as you're saying it, like what your body can do
Hmm.
and how good some people are at what they do, and you're
Some
just
of
like
them are insane athletes.
for like
I
track,
I can't picture.
like world records. I'm like, how do you run that fast?
Hmm.
And I can't even because I know where I was, and then compared to what people are running, I'm like, nah, fam. There was no way I was gonna hit that. Never mind.
Do you know the like average age for an Olympic runner?
No, but I mean, considering well, my buddy was in the running to go, and he's my age. He's 25, so I could imagine like probably 25. You know, early 30s maybe.
Hmm. Have you ever cheered for like another nation,
Oh man,
country?
Usain Bolt. Come on, Usain Bolt was the greatest thing that happened to track
Yeah.
because everyone was so into it, and
Hmm.
like who was gonna beat him, type of thing.
Yeah. Kind
And
of like, yeah, well, not on the same level of track, but like, we remember when Michael Phelps was like super
yeah,
huge too.
that same thing. Like it was like who's gonna take him down, and he was kept winning all these golds,
Hmm.
type of thing. I think he would probably be the only one. Or when it comes to weightlifting, like you always want to cheer for like another country because I don't know if you've heard like the world's strongest man from like the country Georgia.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's trying to break world records as we speak too.
um, I don't know if anybody's like Game of Thrones fans, but I think the Mountain, the character, the actor who plays him, he's really strong too. We could be talking about the same guy, to be honest, but I know he has like a couple records
Mm.
actually. You should probably look into that.
Yeah, I didn't watch Game of Thrones, especially after I heard how it ended. I just
You're like, ah, it's a
no,
waste of
no,
time.
never mind. I don't want to get my hopes up. Never mind.
Watch Dexter
Okay.
in Espanol.
And English with my dad. So
Or else.
Olympics definitely
Hmm.
because I'll still end up watching like old highlights of world records. I'm like, these people are insane.
Dude, they're
How?
like timeless. Yeah, they are insane.
Okay. Next
Real
thing.
quick, sorry,
No,
real
go ahead.
quick. Do you remember? Did you ever learn about the Olympics in Germany?
No, what do you mean?
No, I don't know if I'm imagining things, but I'm pretty sure during World War II or like previous to World War II,
Hmm.
and I'll go ahead and fact check on the next episode, or I'll post it somewhere on Instagram. But there was a time when we sent athletes to Germany for the Olympics, and
That doesn't sound
uh,
safe.
yeah, yeah, and there, there was a lot of like speculation, there was a lot of like nervousness, and people were nervous, and I believe an American runner,
Mm-hmm.
I think, and like I said, I'll double check this. He run one of the like 400-meter races or something,
Yeah.
and I don't think he got like congratulated. Like it was a big win, but it was also like I'm pretty sure that gentleman was like extremely nervous for winning in Germany and being American.
Being
So
in like hostile territory.
yeah, like that's just crazy that we had like such. It could have been prior or it could have been during World War II, but it's just insane to like think that there are people that like went to represent our country and other countries that sent athletes there to run during that time. I just think it's It's wild.
It's wild, man. That's
It's
wild.
wild. We gotta explain that soon so people could get in on that.
Uh, so going on to my next one, a road trip across the country.
Mm.
Just drive everywhere.
Anywhere planned or just spontaneous or?
Just drive within all 48 inland states.
Oh yeah, like a U-Haul,
No, just car.
just car. Can
Just
you do it?
just blow out my car. Um, I want to give a little shout out to what is it? I think the YouTube channel is called Gears and Gasoline, and these guys had like race cars, and they drove across, uh, from Florida, and they try to make it all the way up to Alaska. And these like race cars, yeah, you should
Hmm.
definitely like watch it. It's like really entertaining. So I know you're not much of a car guy, but one guy took a Lancer Evo, so no, kind of like my brother's car.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like we could take my brother's car on a road trip, you know. And then the other guy took an Impreza WRX, like a hatchback one.
Yeah.
And they drove like they made it through all this. Like they started meeting people on the way. But here's the part: like they lived like in like North Carolina or something, so they had to drive all the way down to Florida
All
just
the
to
way to
start.
Florida.
Just to start.
Wow.
And then they were meeting people as they went, like people of the that follow the channel and all that. And I think they, if I remember correctly, they came through like L.A. and then went up like scenic route, and then came up through the Bay and then went all
Hmm.
the way up.
That's cool. How long did that take them? Do you know?
I don't remember exactly, but I'll double check. But I'm pretty sure it was like 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks.
Dang. Were they sleeping in their cars?
I can't give an answer because I don't remember. I'm pretty sure they weren't.
That would be really cool to do. I'd be down to do that one day.
The only issue, since they were like, race cars, they're not like, your cars you take for on commutes and stuff. They kept
Hmm.
breaking down and stuff.
Oh
Like, just like little like mishaps. I'm like, damn,
yeah,
that's annoying.
probably. Yeah, probably would, especially from if you have to start from Carolinas to the Florida and then all the
Just
way
to
up.
start.
Yeah, just to start. What's your third one?
Third one, meet someone famous. Doesn't matter, celebrity, just famous.
Does anybody?
Someone who, you'd be like, I met them, you haven't, type of thing.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
Besides, I was gonna say, my favorite Mexican band.
Hmm.
Besides them, that I pretty much just got a handshake from them. But I feel like I like break down if I like sit down like to talk to them, and be like, man, I've been listening to your music since I was like in the womb,
Uh-huh.
that type of
What
thing.
what if in the future one day we go see them and then we go out to like a bar and then they just walk through? What would you do?
Oh man, I'd probably like pass out. I'd cry. I'd be like too nervous to like walk up to them, that type of thing.
I'd make you, man. I'd be like,
You have
yeah,
to.
mira, ven pa acá. Mi amigo, I don't even know how to say what's to meet you.
They speak a little English.
Yeah.
They have some pretty good
By then
English.
I'll know how to speak 100% Spanish. I'll be fluent. You'll think I
I
was
don't know,
from
man. They're getting old.
Nuevo
That's
Leon.
what's like making me kind of sad because they started in '89, so they're getting up there with their age.
A lot of the bands that I think we'd like are at that age where they're starting to show like their grays and they're
Yeah,
kind of becoming older. Not the image that we saw like when we were kids. And I think like when we're kids, we think like they're gonna stay alive forever.
right.
Just like superheroes, you know.
Same thing with our parents.
Mm-hmm. To your parents, that's a whole nother topic. I'm not ready to talk about yet.
Well, we'll save it for another one.
Another one, yeah.
But I mean, besides them, like they're up there because I remember when I went to the first concert. Man, I got there 7 hours before the concert, thinking there was gonna be a line. I'm like, I'm getting front row. I don't give a fuck.
Dang.
I want like this is my first like I've heard them. Now I get to see them live. I want to be up front and close and like
Hmm.
experience this type of thing.
Did you?
Oh yeah, for sure. You know who I'd probably be way too nervous, but I know he's a big shot now. Gambino.
Who? Gambino.
Oh my god, you can imagine?
I feel like he'd be cool though.
I don't know. He'd be so down to earth, but he's like so big now.
I I think Gambino is probably someone I'd really want to meet too. I think for us, for you and me, like he's someone special because that's how like we also bonded over
Mm-hmm.
Gambino. I think you were playing it one day and I was like, Gambino, pretty much how you said with Rocket League, and then we just started listening to it, and you
Dude.
introduced me to more of just like not his because I listened to I think 2005
Mm-hmm.
first before Sober, and those are still like those mainstream
Yeah.
songs that and I was barely getting into them. Then you started showing me other of his albums. I'm like, wow, like this
His
man's amazing.
his
I
early
remember when you showed me
mixtapes.
the EP that he released
Mm-hmm.
on Spotify,
Yeah.
and was it Not Going Back?
Mm-hmm.
That's the one I really listened
That's
to.
one of your.
Freaks and
That's your
Geeks.
favorite.
Those two songs are like probably the top two on that album that I love to listen to.
Do I remember? I'm pretty sure my buddy's gonna listen to us all. Shout him out. Adrian.
Hmm.
Man, he showed me Gambino my freshman year. Ball and track. He's like, man, you gotta listen to this. Like this man's popping off. And then I was like, I kind of like blew him off, and then I'm like, oh, okay.
You gave it a chance. You're like, heck yeah,
Dude, I've been
dude.
listening to him for like 10 years now,
Uh, well,
and
you're really like in tune with him as well, and not in a sense, not like on a personal level, but like you follow his. If anybody knows like Gambino, like he doesn't want to just make music; he wants to create experiences, and so you've
mm,
actually been able to experience what he's create and how he creates it. It's very different from like someone like, and I'm just saying this like just because they're so big, they're such a big artist, but like Beyonce and Kanye, Post Malone, like they just I feel like they create music and in a sense where Gambino will actually take you on experiences.
yeah,
Like, can you explain the without the internet where he actually had
Be-
like a
yeah.
script with
So
it?
because the internet was released with a script to literally go on with each song, and it tells a whole story about. It's called The Boy, and the most like interesting part about it was Gambino himself transformed himself in real life to represent the boy. Like people were like had him on suicide watch because
Hmm.
it looked like he wasn't himself, and he was just like a completely different person, and he just like didn't want to talk much, and he was growing out his beard. He was just like really shy type of thing, but he literally like made himself be portrayed as the boy in this whole story, and it's just a whole experience, even with the music playing in the background.
Yeah. Actually, I think he did come out and say he did attempt suicide,
Yeah.
and that's when he retreated to some place in LA with like a couple other musicians, and they pretty much like escaped, and that's where he wrote like a lot of his songs. I think they called it the Temple.
I think
It's
it had a
wild.
lot to do with well, that's what Sober came out too.
Hmm.
There's a backstory to that song that he proposed to his then girlfriend at the time, and she said no, and he was just like devastated at the time.
Devastated.
Yeah,
Mm. Do you think she regrets it?
I hope she does, cause you see this man now.
Yeah, but I thought about that too. It was because that's kind of like why I asked. I'm listening to a kind of like channel on Spotify. They go through this experience that you're talking about,
Yeah,
and when I heard that she said no to him, I was like, what? Like, how? But I guess like if you're really not happy with somebody, like it
well,
has to happen, no matter how big they get.
I'm just saying, let a person know before it gets to that point. Like
Hmm.
don't break someone's heart like that type of
I
thing.
I, I feel heartbroken for him.
I did too. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, you could feel it in the song as well.
Yeah. If you what song we're talking about? Sober, right?
Sober, yeah,
If you haven't listened to it, definitely check it out
probably
for
my
sure.
my top three.
Top three. That's another topic we'll get into probably like on another episode.
Oh man, I could go hours about Gambino.
Dude, Gambino.
Hours.
Yeah, I like I said, I was never really a fan of Gambino, and same thing for Post Malone. Like I actually hated the song. What
White
was it?
Iverson.
No, no, actually I did hear that song, but Rockstar. I think
Oh, okay.
I never really liked that song, and then eventually I got into him, and both artists I really do like not adore them, but like they felt, and I hope other artists out there do this same for the listeners. Like they help you get through things, and they kind of like create emotion behind and meaning to that song. And Sober was just the perfect song during the time when I listened to it, and that's mainly like why I listen to music now is just to get that type of vibe.
Can we give
I
a
never
shout
believed in
out?
that either.
Can we give a shout
Hmm.
out to "So Into You"? How beautifully is
Oh
that sung?
yes. I've tried to share that to people, but like people are like, no, I like the original better because a
No,
lot of people that I
no.
talk to are like '90s babies, and so definitely please take a listen to that. You guys will love it. I like it better than the original, to be honest.
I listened to Gambino's before the original. I'm like, there's no comparison, man. I'm sorry. There's no
Yeah,
comparison. Like
that's exactly how I did.
he's saying that like with passion and like with heart.
Hmm.
And I don't think he really used a lot of like acoustic help like for his vocals. I think that
Hmm.
was all him.
Yeah, it's an amazing song. Highly recommend listening to these songs that we're talking about.
Maybe I should finish my bucket list before people get mad.
I know. We just keep today. We're just going. We either can't talk or we keep going on to different tangents, rabbit holes. But all right, go
um
ahead.
all right, so the fourth one I have is learn to play an instrument.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I need to learn how to play something cuz my brother knows how to play. He's probably going to listen to this. So he listens. He plays
I'm
tuba.
rubbing off on you.
Yeah. He plays tuba and correct me if I'm wrong, brother, but alto sax when he used to play.
Is he in band?
Yeah, he was in band, and I kind of regret it cuz I'm pretty sure, well, I know you play the guitar. I'm pretty sure it takes a lot of like time and skill to perfect,
Mm-hmm.
all that.
Yeah, with any instrument, takes lots of practice, and there's some days you just want to give up. But if you're learning an instrument right now, don't give up.
I do want to learn guitar cuz I've
Is
seen
that
you.
a is that a sign?
I don't know.
You want to get together?
Cuz when I show you like some of like my side of music, because we
Mm-hmm.
have different sides of music that like I would show you, you show me, type
Mm-hmm.
of thing. I would show you something and then you'd look up like the chords for it on guitar, and then I'm like shocked. I'm like, bro, what? Like you just played that? Like that's so cool.
Do you remember that song that you wanted me to learn, but I couldn't find it? So like we had to listen to it like 10 times in one night, and then I eventually I figured it out.
You didn't even have to look at the notes. You had it.
No,
Yeah.
it that's like one thing I wish I kept going on with guitar because like I said I've stopped playing guitar a lot
Hmm.
and just life happens. But I think if I would have kept playing, I could have been better. So don't give up, kids. Don't give your instruments.
My dad knows how to play the flute as well. I don't know if you knew
Really?
that. Yeah.
You
But
gotta household the musicians.
yeah. Well, my mom doesn't know how to play anything, but
What
um,
if she's a singer?
you
Hmm?
know, you never know. Um, but it's not like the original, like the flute that's this way. I don't know if there's a difference between the one that comes down.
uh,
That
is it flute or clarinet?
No, it's a flute,
Oh, it's a
but
flute.
yeah, but instead of being side, it comes down type of thing.
If anybody knows, any listener knows,
I think it's called a recorder here.
recorder.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
I'll have to double check. I'll double check so we could look at it together.
I I feel like I have heard about it, but I always wanted to get in band, but I was like always scared of getting picked on because I mean back then like I would get picked on for like anything.
Hmm.
Not to say I was like a wimpy kid, but like when I wanted to go in band, like people were like, "You want to join band? What a nerd!" I was like, "Hey, no, I was just saying it."
No, I
You
feel like
know?
there was a stigma with like just being in band, and I don't know why, but people just thought it was like a geeky thing to do.
Yeah, yeah. I
But
think people band geeks.
when you grow up, you're just like, man, like music is like everywhere, and you
Hmm.
enjoy it type of thing.
I wanted to learn how to play the clarinet, and I think in elementary school, like the musicians came and they were like, "Oh, if you guys want to sign up, like this is how much it is." At the time, like my family was like, "Well, we'll get it, but you
Mhm.
have to learn it."
Oh yeah.
And then eventually, I was like, I don't think I want to do it anymore."
You're
After I
like,
kind of got like bullied. Yeah,
let's
that's something I regret.
let's move on from this depressing topic.
Okay.
Number five.
Number 5.
You were kind of talking about this the last episode. Go to
Hmm.
a music festival.
Is there
So,
anyone that you want to go to, like in the future? I mean, other than Coachella?
so I don't know much, but I've only heard because my brother went to Rolling Loud in the Bay,
Hmm.
and I didn't even know that was a thing, type of
Yeah.
thing. And then I've also heard of Lollapalooza in Chicago.
Yeah,
I heard that one is really good. Uh, Coachella's up there as well. But
I think there's one
besides,
in Reading too that happens. I'm not sure which one that one is.
I don't know if there's many around us. Is there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You have the one that happens. I can't remember the name for the one in Reading, but you have the Reading, and of course, if you go to LA, in
Mm.
Indio, you got Coachella. We have Rolling Loud in the Bay,
Oh, there's one in
and
the
it just
Bay. Um,
hmm
in the park, the Golden State Park. I don't remember what it's called. Well,
Woodstock.
no. I'll have to look it up, but I do remember Gambino was gonna come to it last year,
hmm
and I was thinking about him like, but just to go see him, like that's like $300. I'm like,
Yeah.
ugh. And it's like a whole weekend. But like, I don't know. I'll have to look at what it is. Um, can I do a slash for this? For the
Slash.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
talked
Yeah.
about
Go
it
ahead.
on the last one. I want
hmm
really want to go to WrestleMania, man. Come on, come
do,
on.
do they come to the Bay or like the
Like 3 4 years ago.
Fresno,
No, WrestleMania is their big thing. Like think of it as
like the big one?
their Super Bowl type of thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like they'll pack like everything they can into the stadium.
hmm
They came I think it's 4 or 5 years ago. They came to Levi's when it was like just finished. And they let me tell you, that was a hell of a show. And I was like, it's 2 hours away and I could have gone to it type of thing.
I know. How old were you when that happened?
Well, I think I was if it happened in 2014, 2015, I was 19, 20.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think at that age you're still like learning about money and like
I'm not good with my money.
yeah, especially like when you're young, like you finally get a job, you're like, let's just blow it all on everything. Pretty much like you go out like a
Financial
madman.
aid, let me
Ooh, what is that?
not incriminate ourselves.
I never really got much financial aid, so
Oh.
it's a little stab in the heart for me, but whatever.
Mhm.
And
All right.
what's your last one?
I have a last one that's really kind of outlandish, but it's go to space.
Hey man, I told you I don't think it's not possible. I think what's his name? Tesla. It's
Uh,
Elon Musk.
yeah.
Elon Musk will make it possible for us.
Speaking of, I was reading stories that they're getting out there into space with SpaceX now.
hmm
So it's like it's really taking off now.
And the funny thing is, they were telling that he couldn't divide his company like that. He wanted to work on Tesla. He also wanted to work on SpaceX, and they're
Mm.
like, you have to go ahead and
Pick
pick
one.
one or the other. And he's like, nope, I'm gonna divide the budget in half and take a gamble. And both,
They're booming.
they are booming. They are incredible, and that's kind of like how not I know it's not even related, but that's how I see like our podcast. Like I'm glad we make that jump
Hmm.
because if we didn't do it, probably still would have been home.
What
Just
if?
yeah, what if just talking to ourselves? I mean, which we're doing right now, anyways. But now we have listeners to listen to us.
I, I don't talk to myself.
I do when I'm alone. There's no one that pays attention to me. Kidding.
Do you have your bucket list done?
Yeah, real quick, because we're already past a little bit over an hour, so I'll go through mine real quickly. Uh, and this is again no order, just top five that I could think of right now. And I want to visit the battlefields in America during the Civil War. I think that's
Mm.
super like historical, iconic. I'm a little bit of like a history nerd when it comes to like the Civil War, and I think going to those states that you know it, that part of our history went down like would be interesting. Plus, like the whole like paranormal and all that like
Eng-
creepy stuff. I think
Eng-
I'm into that type of stuff.
English is hard, huh?
It is, man. I'm so sorry. And then like host a themed dinner, like
Oh,
if yeah, I think it'd be really fun. Like invite a bunch of friends, and I know like people might find this like a little weird, but that's just part of like my family. Like me and my sister, we kind of bond over like true crime stuff, like
oh,
stuff that
okay.
happens,
I was gonna
and
say
like
like what type of theme, like a murder mystery type
yeah,
of thing.
like kind of like dress up as like a murder. Like I don't know, you could be um why can't I think of anything now? uh you could be what, Charles Manson.
Oh,
Yeah,
there's a killer on the loose.
killer. And so like we all come like dressed up as some sort of character from a theme. I think it'd be really fun. And then something I've always wanted to do is live in San Francisco for a year. I
Hmm.
think I love the Bay,
I think your
and
heart's there.
yeah, my heart is there. And I think it's also scary because like if I do that, I'd be terrified because I feel like I wouldn't want to leave.
Hmm.
And California's already getting hard to live. The Bay is even harder to live at. Um, and I just want to do it at least for 1 year,
I think
and
you'd
then
make
after
it
that I can
work.
go wherever I want.
You'd
Hmm?
make it work and then not want to. I'd be like, you know what? I'm staying in the Bay now.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm scared of. Like, I want to be able to like experience other places too. Like, I think one of my favorite places is like Arizona too. I'd like to live over there.
Even
Now
with,
4 and 5,
I'm sorry,
huh?
even with that heat, you'd live in Arizona.
The heat, yeah, it's actually well, I'd want to go to Flagstaff,
Mm.
and so Flagstaff's like a really cooler part of Arizona that doesn't get as hot as like Phoenix. Fun fact: my parents actually lived in Phoenix
Oh,
for a
I
little
didn't know that.
while. Yeah, I didn't know that either. So they experienced that heat. But 4 and 5 are kind of the same, but also not the same. So 4, I want to take a spontaneous road trip, like how we discussed in the last episode. Just kind of like hit you up and be like, dude, what are you doing? Let's go visit Colorado. Let's go drive past this or something. And then drive across country is something that you mentioned also. So I really do want to do that as well. Just kind of just set a itinerary and plan it out. Let's go out for like 4 weeks, just driving up and down California, up and it doesn't have to be California. It could be anywhere really, but it'd be
Can't.
real fun to do that.
I'm busy. I'm doing a podcast with my friend.
Oh, sounds like a real douchebag.
Go find another friend. I'm busy doing a podcast.
All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and be ending the episode soon. I just want to give a quick little
Shout out.
shout out from Frankie. A couple episodes talk about the Crow. So Brandon Lee was killed, and he wrote Brandon Lee was killed from an accident on the set. Interesting enough, he was the son of legendary martial artist Bruce Lee, which
Mm.
unfortunately both died at a very young age. Brandon was 28 years old when he passed, and his father was 32. So it's very interesting. Thank you, Frankie.
For those who don't remember, The Crow was one of the Halloween movies we talked about for
Mm-hmm.
paranormal stuff.
And he was the actor that died from a prop gun that was actually loaded. Which
How?
why use a live gun and then make it a prop gun? Like it just doesn't make
Why
any
even
sense.
have
It's just
live
it's
bullets at any
huh?
point? Why even have like live bullets on set?
Yeah, it's tragic that happened, but weird stuff like that happens. Maybe we can make an episode like weird ways people die,
A little segment.
like accidents. Yeah. All right, my dude. Do you have anything else to say? Want to bring up?
No, we're good. Just
No,
thanks.
we're good.
Thanks like always.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you guys on the next episode. This is Michael signing out.
Bye guys.